And this would go back to the moment someone was told, someone was informed that their wife has given birth to a girl. وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And when one of them is informed and given the good news of the birth of a girl, a female child, their face turns dark out of shame, out of embarrassment, that, oh, now I am a father of a girl. وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And they become filled with rage, anger, upsetness. That's how abhorrent the birth of a girl was in their culture. They would not be happy. They would not celebrate. They would mourn the birth of a girl, which would make it easier for them to do what was next, and that is the burial of that child alive. No. When you remove from your heart any remorse for a crime, when you remove from your heart any shame for a wrongdoing, any guilt, any feeling, any sense of guilt for wrongdoing, then it becomes easier for you to commit that crime. When a murderer commits the murder, he's not committing the murder thinking that, oh, I'm going to take the life of an innocent person. This is a huge thing. This is a grave sin. This is a grave crime. This is this and that. They think of that person that they are about to murder as just cutting a branch of a tree, or just breaking a stone, or something else which is lifeless. So then they have no remorse at the end. They have no shame. They have no guilty feeling at that crime. So when these Arabs in the pre-Islamic era used to do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to that practice in Surah Al-Takwir and says, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. On the Day of Judgment, people who committed this crime will be questioned about the child that was buried alive. بِأَيِّ ذَنبٍ قُتِلَ. For what crime was she murdered? For what crime was she killed? Because a child is always innocent. Even if a child has done something, even in our system here, we have a juvenile system where a minor is not responsible for whatever they have committed, and there may be something else going on if they have reached a certain age, but later on they will be absolved of that because they will be treated as a juvenile, as a minor at the time of having committed that crime. So a child is always innocent, boy or girl. So when a boy or girl is killed, that boy or girl will stand up on the Day of Judgment before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and will ask from his or her killer, why did you kill me? What did I do? What crime had I committed for which you took my life? Now we know that these children who leave from this world in this kind of sad way, tragic way, they return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and there's a heaven waiting for them. But someone was responsible for cutting their lives short. Someone was responsible for taking their lives without any justice, without any right to do so. And as I said, a child is always innocent. So even for other human beings, in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most serious of all crimes, perhaps, is the crime of taking someone's life. And that's why on the Day of Judgment, the very first thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will turn towards in making the judgment, in making the decision, is blood. Did you shed someone's blood unjustly? Did you do something like that? If that was done, أول ما يقضى بين الناس الدماء. blood of the people is very sacred in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the blood of any innocent human being. But the blood of a child has a very, very powerful and special place in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these days we keep hearing about the murder of these children who are being murdered in Palestine, in Gaza, blindly and indiscriminately. It's very tragic, but it is inviting the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no doubt. I have no doubt because I read this ayah of Quran, the ayah of Surah Ibrahim, where Allah says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Do not ever think that Allah is unaware of what the wrongdoers are doing, what the oppressors are doing. Everything that they're doing, Allah is fully aware of it. And the respect that they are getting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not to their benefit, is to their harm, is to their disadvantage. They are, as we say, they are digging a deeper hole for themselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon those who are in pain, who are in suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shield them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paralyze the power of the oppressor. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seize the hands of the oppressor. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant Jannatul Firdaus to those who have lost their lives in this war, in this tragedy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honor their sacrifices. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their sacrifices. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the children, the women, the men, and all the people in Gaza, in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. Jazakallah.